After a week off due to some technical issues, my mic wasn't working, we are back. The long-form content is back, and I'm so excited to restart, reinvigorate, rejig, hopefully what you like about Daz Talks Footy. But in this video, Brisbane and Adelaide. They are two sides that came in with pretty high expectations. Brisbane being the side that was oh so close last year, and Adelaide being the team from outside of the eight most thought would make that jump. Now, did people go as far as I did? Probably not. How do I feel about that? Not great, but here we are. Both midfields, though, are going like a busted ass at the moment, which is not great. Both of them are in the bottom four for centre clearances, but that is not the only problem that is plaguing these two teams as midfields, as they both sit at 0-3 after round 3, even though there have been 4 rounds of footy. This fixturing is stupid, but we move on with it. They're 0-3, their midfields are going like shit, and I want to talk about it. So welcome to the Mediocre Midfield Paradox, featuring the Brisbane Lions and the Adelaide Crows. Let's go. So the biggest problem with the centre clearance numbers is that you're not going to be able to, all things equal, generate scores and inside 50s, which of course are two of the biggest things that you need in the game. Whereas we're getting to a more congested style, and teams that are able to punish those on the outside are getting easier access to scores. We know this, but all things are equal. It's 6-6-6. Good luck to you. Neither of these teams are taking advantage of it at all. And when you think about the types of players that are there, Laird, Dawson, Crouch for the Crows, Neal, Dunkley, McCluggage for the Lions, that already doesn't make sense. And then when you factor in the secondary problem, and I'll touch on that in a second, you're kind of up a certain creek without a paddle, if you will. If you're not getting your hands on the footy as, let's be honest, one-paced midfielders, and there's a little tease for what's going to come later, you're screwed. And they're screwed. Now, let's start with the Crows when it comes to their big explanation, shall we? When you go inside 50, you are expected to score. And when Adelaide have got the forward line of Fogarty, Walker, Rankin, Rochelle, Lukey Pedlar, these guys that are forward, you would expect them to be, at worst, a middle-of-the-road scores per inside 50 team. They're last. Not the running joke last year, which was last if you don't include West Coast. Nope. West Coast are scoring more per inside 50 than Adelaide are. They scored 34 points on the weekend. They had 14 scoring shots. They scored from 29% of their inside 50s. They are so slow, and that is a massive problem. Massive problem. Why Matt Crouch got the 2-year deal becomes evident now, because around the footy he's awesome. And he's been good. I've got no problem with Matt Crouch in that midfield. I've got a massive problem with Matt Crouch and Rory Laird being at CBAs together, and I hope Adelaide fans do as well. Now, I'm going to talk about Jordan Dawson in just a little bit, but even Rory Laird, I nearly said Ryan Laird there, Rory Laird has been like, yeah, I could do a rotation at half forward as I go through the midfield. The dude was an all-Australian back pocket who, I think in 2018, led the Brownlow a month in as a back pocket. Let him get his cheapies down there. This is not an AFL fantasy or a Supercoach conversation. I don't give a stuff what he is. He's not in my side at the moment. He probably should be. He isn't. That doesn't matter. My Supercoach season is not up for debate. That's a different paradox. It's called the Supercoach can get paradox. Anyway, just why isn't he down there? Control it down there. You've got Michael Annie, who's doing a really good job being that forward back shoulder defender. Wayne Miller is now injured. Brodie Smith's been fine, I suppose, and they have just nothing else of excitement coming out of the back half. Just let him be the general down there and go from there. Get Rankin, get Rochelle into more CBAs, get Luke Pedlar into more CBAs. As a high half forward, Lukey Pedlar is about as low on confidence as me hitting on Mila Kunis at the moment, because he had 4 touches on the weekend. which is not great. But their high half forwards are a massive problem. But the midfield and high half forward problem are going to be represented in these two clips. Now, to avoid a copyright strike, I'm going to need to talk over them, but don't stress, I'll talk you through them. Now, this first one is a little bit unlucky because it is a free kick to advantage, but you've got two choices as a half back. You can either go and attack the contest, in which case you better impact it, or there's going to be a free man, or you hold back and stay with your man. Now, when your team lets the opposition walk out of the front of a stoppage, you kind of need to try and cut that off, which is what happens here. So let's roll the clip and I'll show you what I mean. So it is an advantage. Danger takes off, but Myers isn't in the 50-metre arc when Danger takes off. Look, it's a poor kick, but it's a 6v6. Defenders, they're going to be as confused as the forward. So it's not really the worst thing in the world. It's not turning the ball over. Brian Myers walked from 55 out to, what do we think that is, 35 out? So 20 metres unopposed, bang, goal. That's a problem. Now you might think, that's a bit harsh. That's an advantage call. You're already out. Yeah, I'd agree with you if they were a middle-of-the-road clearance team. No. They're not. They're number 2 in the competition. They're number 1 in the competition, the Crows are, because the other mob are number 2 at stoppage clearance. This is a 3v3, 4v4 centre clearance problem. Let me show you the second one. Now, you might say, the game's over. I don't care. You've still got to be better than this. Let's roll the second clip. So, O'Brien, Saligo, and Jordan Dawson are all not on the defensive side of this stoppage at all. All 3 of their opponents are goal side, which means Brad Close is just there on his own. And then as he kicks this ball in, now you might say, okay, over the back, he missed his target, whether he was going for goal or not, who knows. Sean Manor and Ollie Henry are leading Brodie Smith and Jordan Butts back to the goal line. None of them are defensive side at all. That's an issue. That's a massive issue. Is it probably overblown? I don't know. I don't think so. When you're 0-3 and going as badly as they are, these things need to be crucified. Now, their big problem against the Dockers this weekend was just how slow they were. With the ball, without the ball, they were caught holding the ball a bunch of times. They got away with a few throws a couple of times too, by the way. They're not the only club in the competition to do that just quietly. And Freo, haven't they been awesome? But my God, this Adelaide outfit looks slow. They look lacking in confidence. And sure, you could say, it's just a few injuries down back. I don't think Jordan Butts and Josh Worrell have been bad at all. Now, have they been amazing? Jury's out. Maybe not. But that doesn't mean that the other 2 parts of the ground need to go shit as well. This is not good. Not good at all. Again, their high half forwards, Ned McHenry and Luke Pedlar, Thought McHenry was okay, had a really nice finish from the pocket, but maybe he needs a run in the midfield. Did try to get some silky smooth class in there. Can Mitch Hinge go from a wing in there? The Jake Saligo clip, okay, he's not my worst guy in there, and he's probably not the guy you want standing at the defensive part of a stoppage anyway. Happy to give him more runs, but my God, Jordan Dawson, you need to use the footy better, mate. And I know, A, he's probably not watching this, but B, I know he knows this. I'm not saying anything that I don't think any average football fan, let alone whatever the hell that I think that I am, knows. So, by all means, I'm not giving out new information. I'm also not trying to bash Jordan Dawson. I'm also not trying to bash anyone here. Every single person that has ever made it on an AFL list is better at the game than I'll ever be. At no point do I ever think to myself, even when I'm showing these clips, I could do it better than you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yeah, Jordan's a little bit of a problem. No one else is stepping up as well. They have like a 47-man leadership group at this point. No one really there is standing up. I've liked Riley O'Brien's start, but again, he's not going to be a top 5 ruck in the league. He's never going to be a bottom 10 ruck either. But he's not the guy. It's very rare that your ruckman's going to be your best player. Yes, you might think Max Gawn. Sure, but there's at least competition there with Oliver Petrarca. So, Adelaide, big problems. How do they fix it? Well, I don't know, because they've shown no signs that they can fix it yet. It's just going to have to come with time, application. I think they've got Melbourne on the weekend. Good luck. Good luck, but this season is slipping away, and this Thursday, I think they play, or Friday, is an elimination final. for the Crows. They need speed, though. Speed. Speed on the ball. Get and go. Because what are Freo doing? What are Geelong doing? What are Sydney doing? What are the Giants doing? There's no coincidence that the teams that are up the ladder and the teams that I've gotten a little bit wrong, not going to lie, throughout the start of this year, are quick. Get with the times. Get with the times or get left behind, for crying out loud. You may not have recruited the best over the last decade, Adelaide, but you just signed your coach for 2 years. Any chance you could change this up? My goodness. Now, you might think I'm just angry because of that why they'll finish top 4 thing. I'm really not. I always stand by the principle of if I can give you rational thought behind a prediction, any kind of video, I think you'll get that sense of authenticity. And hey, if you want to roast me for the incorrect call, go for it. I have a thick skin. Trust me, you wouldn't make the top 50 insults I've ever heard if you tried it. Again, I did 6 years in hospo. You're good. Go for it. Roast me. That's fine. I am watching what I think is a good footy team perform really badly. And that's a problem. Speaking of a good footy team that's operating badly, the Brisbane Midfield have one of the top free agency targets this year. A guy who's won a best and fairest in a premiership and a 2-time Brownlow medalist. And they're going just as bad. So let's talk about Brisbane. Brisbane are second in the competition at Adelaide for stoppage clearances. Now, why that is because Cam Rayner, Zach Bailey, and their high half forwards come up the ground, get involved, create extra numbers, and they are just getting no connection from the 50-metre arc to about 80 out from goal. Lincoln McCarthy doesn't look like he's playing in the same manner. Rayner and Bailey just absolutely are not as well. And Charlie Cameron's not the guy you want leading up at the ball and delivering inside 50. Is he a beautiful field kick? He absolutely can be, but his razzle-dazzle is 50 to the goal line. Like, that's not a big call. I don't really get why Kai Lohman is being the sub. If you're going to have a crafty half-forward player and send guys up to a stoppage, have another small forward down there. Seems like a good way to go. And you might think, oh, their problem is Kitty Coleman being out. I think Connor McKenna's done a hamstring as well. Yeah, that sucks. I'm not talking about the D50 to forward 50 transition. I'm really not. I'm talking about the fact that Brisbane's 2 strengths last year, which was territory in the forward half and scoring, have now gone to shit. Remember how I said Adelaide were the worst team for scoring per inside 50? Well, at least Brisbane are doing better than North and West Coast. April Fools, no they're not. They're 17th. Brisbane, they were 4 points off a flag. 4 points off a flag. West Coast are scoring more per inside 50. North are scoring more. Reckon Hawthorn are. Let's roast my absolute shitstorm of a footy club at the moment. Are going better per inside 50 than this mob are. So, that's a big problem. And Cam Rayner and Zach Bailey now are kind of going into that overrated territory now. They just are. Sorry. The high half forward role is a really, really refined one. Dylan Moore is a very good one. Brad Close, Brian Myers. Geelong have got 2 of the best ones in the competition. Anyone watch how Alex Neil-Bullen played against Port Adelaide? Absolutely turning it on. High half forward. It's what they need to do. It's what the Bulldogs are trying to do with Riley West and Latham Vandermeer with mixed results. But it's not happening for Brisbane at the moment, and it is a massive issue. Now, look, the buy might have come at the right time, and look, they might need to have a few hard conversations. I recommend doing what Carlton did and finding someone's remote house out in the bush somewhere, having some hard chats, some eye to eyes, get on the piss, whatever it is. Maybe don't do it in Vegas. Might be a good place to start, but hey, what do I know? But to be fair, the fact that AFL players were worse behaved than NRL players in Vegas says it all. It's not quite a premiership hangover, but holy shit. Is it really that difficult not to cheat on your partner? Really? You know how easy it is not to cheat on someone? I'm doing it now. And I look like this. My goodness. Oh, but Brisbane's defence, as they tell me, they're going to hold up okay. Harris Andrews and the like, they're locking down. They have the 4th worst loss percentage for defensive one-on-ones, Brisbane do. So they're not getting the ball inside. Eric Hipwood is playing not that great. Joe Danaher, bit up and down, not spectacular. Darcy Fort didn't really have an impact on the weekend. So that's not working. The midfield, again, like Adelaide, they're slow, they've got no X factor, they've got no burst. Will Ashcroft's out, but you're relying on a sub-21-year-old to be your zip. That's a little bit of a problem. Yes, you might argue Nick Dacos is Collingwood's main zip as well. He's not their only zip. Did you see Jack Crisp on the weekend? My goodness. But, yeah, good grief. And then in the back line, they're losing one-on-ones. Now, is part of me thinking, right, if everything's going to go wrong, that's somewhat okay than rather fixing one spot fire and then attending to the next one. You can just put the fire out at once. Yeah, there's a little bit of that, but you need to fix it at some point because 0-3, not great. The Gabba Fortress, you're 0-2. And your other loss was to a team that was bottom 6 last year. Wake up. Quickly. Because the way you're playing at the moment, North can beat you. I don't think they will, but they can. And it doesn't matter if you win by a point, 20 points, 120 points. You just need to win next weekend. But both of these teams are going terribly. And basically, centre clearance, lack of speed, and lack of zip is a huge problem, as well as not having refined high half forwards. But what do you guys think about these two midfields? And who else is going very well or very badly in the midfield, do you think? Comment below, let me know. Click the like video if you like the video. Subscribe to join the Daz Talks Footy family. We are back. Hope you had a fantastic Easter. I did as well. Absolutely loved it. Hope you did too. Stay well, champions, and I will absolutely see you next time. We are back.